Everybody, welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name. There is a new dual banner that either just went live or is just about to go live, depending on when this video goes live, and we're going to talk about it. It is going to be Momo and NonoWill. So, I'm going to cut straight to the chase here. I think this is the best dual banner so far, probably. Barrel and Cole is close, but I actually think I like this is my number one easily. However, for meta, it's probably Cole Barrel, but I like this one. So we're going to jump into it. I think this is a awesome dual banner, and I'm going to be pulling both of these characters 100%. But first, we're going to start here with the I can fix her mommy, and that is Momo. I feel like when I look at her, I see people in Twitch chat just saying, I could fix her, you know? That's the vibe I'm getting here. Anyway, so what is Momo about? What does she do? We're going to go over her skills, kind of get a look at it. But also just her overall theme is basically damage over time. That is the most fun theme of all time. What the fuck is she breaking out of right now? She looks pretty chill, but man, look at this background picture. She's fucking up a building or something. But she increases all damage over time to all enemies within 4 tiles of her. And also, she kind of has like this crazy, insane tanking ability, I guess. It's called Repulsion Barrier, which a lot of her stuff's going to be built around. You have immunity to knockback, which is actually pretty unique. I don't think any other character in the game has that besides like bosses with unique immunities. Each stack increases your attack by 2%. I don't think that's as important. Like, yeah, it goes up to 10%. Actually, sorry, maybe we can go up to... This is her at 5 stars. Okay. So yeah, you get 10% attack if you have full repulsion barriers, whatever. But it blocks physical attack and reduces damage taken by 50%. I assume that it only reduces the physical attack damage by 50%, not all damage. But one stack is removed whenever you take damage, and basically you can't be dispelled. You always have that. So she has a good way to reduce physical damage. But her signature ability here is actually badass. 65% AoE damage to all enemies within a 3x4 area, and it inflicts 2 stacks of infection. What's important is this has no cooldown. You can do this every turn if you have a way to get enough energy to do it, so you can pile up the infection. In a big AoE too. Like the Luxite Grenade is better for it most of the time, but this probably is better upfront damage, and this could be used every turn where that one can't. When Momo has Doom Waken, which is her final ability, we'll get to it, you basically instantly pop the infection. It does remove half the stacks, which infection does normally, so it's like that part is not weird. It basically just triggers infection. So really quick, let us jump into here. Level 1 or rank 1, pretty much nothing. You're not going to use either of these. Decrease AoE damage taken by all allies within 3 tiles by 25%. I would take this one just because it's like whatever. You're probably never going to use Energy Ray. I love Energy Ray, but I need this to be on weaker characters. I need this to not be on a character with so many unique, powerful skills. This is like a good ability on a silver unit. This would be a great ability on a silver unit most of the time because it's just a good way to deal damage. But, you know, Repulse Application. This ability is pretty cool. I don't know if this is going to be the one that I use, but it very well... I can't imagine not getting it if I'm being honest. Selects one location within a cross shape. So basically you're going to be looking at, you know, directly forward, directly behind you, and to the left and right. And then in 3 lines, you get to knock things back 2 tiles and inflict move 2, or you choose the other ability and you knock them, you knock them reversely, otherwise known as knock them forward. So basically you're going to choose 3 tiles to within, I wonder how far away it goes, actually. Does it say? Within a cross-shaped range. It doesn't say here, but let's assume it's a 2 or 3 tile radius. And you're either going to knock 3 characters back or 3 tiles back, or you're going to knock them forward into you. So, pretty cool, actually. Like, because you're immune to knockback, you could actually pull them, I guess it doesn't matter, but you could pull them into you to deal them knockback damage, which is percent-based damage, or you could pull them, you know, push them into walls or off of ledges, stuff like that. Overall, a great ability that helps you manipulate enemies' positioning a lot, which is very good. There's not very many things that move 3 horizontal lines. I mean, obviously the Ice Priest and Simona have that, but this is still one of the best. However, Erosive Power is my favorite ability in the game. Not quite, but up there. She has pretty much every one of my favorite abilities in the game. Damage increased by 10%. Cool. After dealing damage, you inflict a stack of infection. Fuck yeah, bro. That means that attack, that AoE attack that does 1 or 2 stacks of infection, now does 3 stacks of infection. But if you do after a single target active attack, which she does have, you additionally inflict 1 more stack of infection. So you're doing 2 stacks of infection minimum with single target attacks, and your AoE attacks that do infection, you're going to be doing more. So if you have something like this, you know, at a range of 2, you recover energy. It actually says recover energy and do 2 stacks of infection. So badass. Erosive force field, definitely the better of the 2 here. When repulsion barrier blocks a melee attack, you perform a strike pack dealing 70% magical damage and you inflict the stack of infection. So again, remember, this doesn't have any damage reduction on it. It doesn't need it because your repulsion barrier has a 50% damage reduction from physical attacks. And so when you're getting hit by a physical melee attack, you are going to strike back and you're going to inflict infection. I don't know if you have it with this, if it's actually going to be 3. After dealing damage, it would definitely be 2. So you might actually get 2 stacks of infection, maybe 3 stacks of infection if this counts as a single target active attack. I don't think it is an active attack. It's a reaction. So I do think you get 2 stacks of infection. Both these abilities we're probably skipping. I don't think the toughness is very good on her. She's mostly damage over time. Toughness is good on most characters, but she's already relatively tanky from physical attacks at least, and she also does mostly infection-based damage, so this is probably not that important. Dark Ripple, absolutely going to be the one I take here. I may not use it that much, but again, you're doing AoE, locking passive skills, locking reaction skills, and doing AoE infection. Even if it's just 1 stack, once you have synergies going for infection, it could be very, very powerful. And this is just a great ability overall. Decent damage. It's kind of low damage, but it's like enough when you're also locking all their passives and reactions. Very good ability here. For normal attacks, I would like to take the sleep, but because I'm actually going to take this one because her abilities are so good. I want to be using them all the time when I can. And if I have to take a turn off, I want an extra energy for it. However, being able to put things to sleep randomly is good, especially with a character that is doing infection, because if you do this and you apply 2 stacks of infection and they're asleep, that means they have to take infection for 2 turns and they still won't wake up from that. So it is very powerful. The inconsistency of it is lame. If they had the other attack that was the one that like Abyss has that guarantees sleep, I'd take that for sure. Rank 11, we've got basically an average ability here. I mean, it does do a lot of damage. And it heals you, which is cool, but I actually think Doom Waken is obviously what most people are going to want here. Instant, you gain 2 stacks of repulsion barrier. Remember, it goes up to 5. And you gain Doom Waken for 3 turns. Basically, what does this do? It increases your attack by 20%, and it grants you 50% lifesteal. Also, you get Alert in a 3-tile radius at the end of your turn, and you deal 70% magic damage up to 3 times per round. So you basically have an alert that triggers 3 times. This actually could be one of those things where if you might want to use the Hunter's gem on this character if you're not using another character that could use it, right? Because then if they use a skill, you're gonna, I mean, 70 times 3, that's what, 7, 140, 210. So that's a huge amount of potential damage against their team in general, and you're getting lifesteal, and you're getting a bonus to attack. And not to mention, again, you have Doom Waken, it's an instant ability, and now when you have it, you get to use Misfortune Erosion right away, and that will also do 3 stacks of infection, and because you have the Doom Waken, you'll immediately deal damage based off their infection. You'll trigger their 3 stacks of infection immediately, and then you'll have the stacks on it. I think it's rounded up, so I think it actually goes from 3 to 2 stacks, which is still really good. So obviously that's like her big wombo combo, while also being tanky and having, she's just fantastic. She's like my favorite character. I say that every time a new character comes out. Edda is my favorite character, Guzman's my favorite character, Simona's my favorite character, and now Momo's my favorite character. And I truly mean it. Like, I can't decide. I fucking love how powerful and cool and unique these characters are. But, so Momo, for me, she's a 10 out of 10 character in terms of fun. Probably I think she actually is more, she's going to be good in PvP because of how good Repulsion Barrier is at physical stuff and being able to knock things away at a distance. Also being able to do instant stacks of erosion. But I'm not sure. Maybe the infection stuff is just too weak for PvP in general, and she's going to be a PvE powerhouse. She is a PvE powerhouse, but overall, I rank her high. But, and this is hard for me to admit, I actually think NonoWill might even be better. And that's crazy, because I think Momo is insanely powerful, but I think NonoWill might actually be better. If we look at the trait here, you possess, did we level up to 5? We did. You possess jump. She also gains 15% bonus attack. Okay, it's like, this is kind of lame. It's fine. This is kind of lame, but it's fine. She gains Veil. What the hell is Veil? Veil is nuts. And once you have her at 5-star, it is every turn, but it's going to start off at 3 turns, which is still also fine. Decrease AoE damage taken by 99%. That basically nullifies any AoE. There's no fucking AoE attack in the game. If she's level 1, she could probably tank a level 50 attack. You know, like something crazy. 99%. And it disappears after being hit by an AoE attack. Sure, whatever. But basically, the first AoE attack you take in combat is going to do absolutely nothing. It also says, it decreases damage taken by 99% and disappears after being attacked by an AoE attack. I assume that means the buff disappears. I assume it doesn't mean she disappears. The wording of it is not 100% clear to me, but I assume it just means the buff is after one use, you lose it, you know, and then it goes on cooldown basically. So I think the worst thing about her might actually be her initial signature ability, 1,000 Blades, and it's not even bad. It's 3 consecutive attacks against all enemies within 2 tiles, each dealing 30% damage. So if you can get something that's like, whenever you deal damage, after dealing damage with a single target, no. After dealing damage with a single target, no. But if there's a weapon that gives you, like, after dealing damage, because this hits 3 times. That is its big thing that's going to make it good. If there's anything that says when dealing damage, an effect happens, that's going to be when this thing actually gets really good. So, but for now, I don't really like the ability. It's fine. 90% damage and an AoE is reasonable. It's just not insane, you know, but I mean, it is good. So rank 1 here, Maneuver is probably better than Infected Dagger. I'm probably taking Infected Dagger because it's one of my favorite abilities in the game. I love Infection. It kind of gets that whole build going. However, Maneuver is likely better. Actually, I'm not sure about that when we get to Phantom Dance. We'll take a look here, because am I going to use either of these? Probably not most of the time. Rank 3, Enchanting Shadow. Very cool ability, but I actually am not sure if I'm ever going to actually get this one. NonoWill she gains dodge and inflicts vulnerable 3, which lasts 2 turns to all enemies within 2 tiles around herself. I think vulnerable 3 is actually pretty rare, but vulnerable 2 I think is not that hard to get on a lot of stuff, so I think I'm okay with that. And honestly, it's like, this ability is cool and it's fine, but it's a little only doing vulnerable 3. If it did a little bit of damage as well, maybe, but I just don't feel like this is her role in my opinion. But Phantom Dance, this ability is sick, bro. You gain move 2, so you instantly get 2 extra tiles of movement. It's only for that turn. But then if you're within an enemy's threat range at the end of the turn, you return to the location where you started the turn at. So you get to, if you're in the back line and you have Maneuver Command or something and you use Phantom Dance, suddenly you can run all the way deep. I think this is like a quintessential example of a badass PvE ability. Or sorry, PvP ability. You get to run you get to overextend deep into enemy lines, do your biggest AoE attack, you know, your 3 AoE hit thing, or your strongest attack in general, and then you just end your turn and you teleport, boom, all the way back to the back line. So this allows you to super deep overextend, use a really greedy attack, and then get back out. I think Phantom Dance is kind of nuts, and this is probably going to be what I use on her if I use her in PvP. PvE, I'm less interested, but it's still, I think it's a great ability because the move 2 is still just really good. Energy Recovery or Defense Magical, both of these are kind of whatever in my opinion. I don't really care which one I take. Aggression is actually pretty good. I don't have any aggression leader auras. If we take a look at the aggression characters, we have the S tier Guzman, the high tier Beryl, and Alexi. The thing is, actually Lash is going to be pretty good. So it's not like an insane aura, right? It's just like a normal aggression aura. It's not normal, right? Your skill damage increases by 10%. I mean, that's good. It's very good. So I actually like this. However, Anesthetic is probably literally, when I said Infected Dagger, I was lying. It's actually Anesthetic is maybe my favorite ability in the game. After attacking, you inflict a stack of infection passively. Okay. When actively using class skill to hit targets, I don't know what that means. I assume that means just any skill. To hit targets with 5 or more stacks of infection, you inflict sleep. That means if you bring them up to 5 infection stacks, You know, they might have to already be at 5, honestly. But if you hit them and then they get enough infection stacks, then they go to sleep. And then guess what? The infection doesn't wake them up when they take damage from infection. So this is how you kill someone. You get them so poisoned that they fall asleep and then they die. So rank 9 is pretty much going to be triple slash. Again, it's another 3 attacks. And this actually does 369, 105% damage, which is pretty good. It's not as good as the 110% damage, but it is 3 hits. So again, if you're finding things that deal damage, do have an effect on damage, that's when you're going to start getting huge effects. Like there's probably a tarot that's like when you deal damage, you can, I don't know, I don't remember, like an effect will happen. So the 3 consecutive attacks is going to be a big standout thing, but you have to find a way to make it do something instead of just being slightly weaker than a normal attack. Lupine Blade, is that how you say it? Lupine Blade is fine. Not great, but it's good. 100% damage. But this ability is, again, I think this is a PvP unit straight through and through. If she's not good in PvP, I'll be shocked. So she gains the Celestial Song Aura. Effect grants all allies within 5 tiles regeneration 2 and immune to attribute debuff. That kind of sucks, bro. Why would I even want this ability? It's not even that good. Oh wait, and inflicts no active skills, unable to cast any active skills aside from basic attack on all enemies within 3 tiles. If they don't have a way to counter this skill, this is fucking nuts, bro. You're gonna have to fucking auto attack her to death, and now you're gonna just have someone that stands in front of her and blocks. You know, I'm gonna have like an Inanna guard or something. I don't know, something for 2 turns and can't be dispelled or immunized. 5 tiles. Okay, it only affects 3 tiles on enemies, but still within 3 tiles, you get right next to all their fucking units. This is so strong. Suddenly, like their range units have to spend all their movement with 3 tiles means a normal ranged unit, like a watcher, if you're next to them, they can't get out of there. They're gonna have to walk 3 tiles away and then auto attack it because they'll still be within 3 tiles. Seekers are gonna have an issue with this because they don't have ranged attacks. Tanks are going to have an issue with this because they're not going to be able to use any of their skills to defend their allies. Healers aren't going to be able to heal. They might be far enough away where they could do that though. And then like, so ranged magic attackers or characters like Nungal, which are ranged magic attackers, but you know what I mean, more of an auto attacker, they're not going to have as much issues, but this is going to fuck up a fuck ton of units. So I think NonoWill is going to be a PvP powerhouse. Maybe I'm wrong, because I haven't done that much PvP, but I read her abilities. I'm like, how could she not be absolutely insane in PvP? That ability is nuts. Not to mention she could just go in 1,000 blades and get some good fucking damage, right? And I'm sure there's like something good that goes in here. I don't know exactly what I would want her to use that for, but we'll have to figure it out. Anyway, that's going to be all for this one. I think NonoWill is probably a 10 out of 10 for PvP, maybe a 7 out of 10 for PvE content. I mean, honestly, she's probably even lower than that. She doesn't like, when I'm reading her for PvE, I actually am not like impressed with her abilities at all besides anesthetic. But that is also on agile eyes. So who knows, but still overall, I mean, this is good. This is going to be good in PvE as well because enemies are dumb. And overall, just a great character. And I'm excited to use her. I think she's going to be really, really fun to use, but not as fun as Momo, but almost as fun as Momo, but not quite. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much for Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip-flops. Bye!
Platypus on the rise, watch the views go.